another Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akashat Zabiri. How are you today? How was your weekend?
Weekend was fun. Yesterday, myself and my husband went for an Igbo traditional marriage, wedding. And the rites and all of that was just interesting. Except that after a while, we got lost. The whole thing. Did not hear Nari. But the MC had apologized that this is an Igbo event. That they will be speaking in their language.
Your neighborhood, Abi?
Yeah, he loves the younger brother, so not too far, but not my neighborhood, not too far.
Yeah.
So congratulations to NDLEA and Ifeanyi. Happy married life.
So those of you that didn't understand, you just need to get married, yeah?
I just had to leave early. After sitting for a while, I was just...
That's good, that's good. Hello, Mariam.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Anyway, my weekend was eventful as well. From Friday, Wimbies, to what do you call the trade fair? Yes, and I was there yesterday as well. One thing I've always loved about trade fairs, especially international ones, like as a child, my mom used to make sure we go for things like that, and then you go and see the different stores from different parts of Africa. I spent so much time at the Ghana, stalls, and the Cameroon, whatever. We're trying to change CFAs to Naira. Some of them came and they still don't know the exchange rates. So I said, figure that out first before you start selling your things, But it's just amazing how beautiful African culture is and the things that we can do. You know that I'm so interested in all the eco-friendly raffia things, but I think the Ghanaians have taken it a notch higher.
The processing.
The finished product is beautiful, well finished, even in the clothing and things like that. And I was talking to one of them and he was saying, yes, so he agrees that Ghanaians have gone far, but that Nigerians were just in a hurry. We don't want to take the time to do the tiny details.
Right.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
Nice. That's how we're going to become the China of Africa, where we just don't do everything fast. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. I was supposed to, honestly, I don't even know if I'm smiling or... I'm supposed to be at a trade fair like this in the UK for next week. I told you about it. Supposed to. I'm still praying for a miracle. I found there's an organizer that came to meet me, said they're putting together this investment summit, an exhibition that I should pay for a booth, and I paid. Even my husband tried to pay as well, and I got a mail last week that they didn't get enough people and they cancelled, and my money has...
As what?
Yeah, my money is there. So they said that they've gotten a bank to do another exhibition that I can attend for free, that they've sorted out a partnership, but that my money, they are giving me a promissory note. It's not small money. So I've been like asking God, I work too hard, I cannot lose, And we've been having that conversation, and the man just, I'm not going to mention his name, I don't want to, I won't do that, I'm a business person, but he was just so nonchalant that he's a business owner, these things happen, they lost money, and he has given me a promissory note. May we not face challenges. Challenges happen in life. If I want to call him out, I can call him out. But he's been in the UK for the past 30 years. His business is registered in the UK and in Nigeria. And I run a business. So I understand that you can have challenges, but there are ways you approach subject. And this is not small money. It's not small money. It's supposed to cover tickets, accommodation, and the exhibition. And we paid 100% upfront. And now I'm just, it's not a big money now. You can buy ticket for yourself to go to the UK. I'm
Look at that.
Do you know my pockets? It's been this weekend I've just been telling myself,
taking it for granted because you're in Nigeria.
Yes.
There's no system to...
Pursue him.
And that's the only reason, because you will not say that if you lived in the UK and a resident or a
If you suffer a frustration in business, you must have a backup plan to recover people's money.
There goes my banter.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, no
break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, I want to start with the nation. Another governor threatens to quit Atiku campaign. CBN's digital currency yet to gain traction. Court will decide ASU's withheld salaries, says Ngige. 2 Pakistanis others held for cocaine skunk trafficking. Dollar scarcity worsening petrol supply, says marketers. COP27, Buhari world leaders tackle climate change. JAMB, only CBT centers with laptops will be accredited. Okay, let's start with which story?
Let's
Mariam?
start with the picture story. So NDLEA is on it again, and 2 Pakistanis have been arrested by the NDLEA. They're believed to, they came in about a week before on their departure, they were arrested. So they have Nigerian residence permits that's believed to be fake, and they were boarding while, and attempting to go to Qatar, and they had cocaine on them and other. They came in on the 30th of October, and then when they were arrested, they had concealed 8 kilograms of cocaine in a public address system, and they were arrested. Also at the Sako import shed, November 4th, some cartons of tramadol were seized, and these illicit drugs were going to Pakistan as well, and so many other people. Drugs found in footwears, in body creams. Also, a young 32-year-old Oladiton Sarah Olufumilayo had also been arrested. She had taken like this whole package to the export shed, and she was arrested there as well. And so many other arrests that they have done. Even some barons that NDLEA had been on the lookout for. They finally got 2 of them, and they were arrested as well.
All right. So a human rights lawyer, not human rights, human rights lawyer, activist lawyer, Femi Falana has actually urged the president to pay ASU, especially the 8 months arrears. That's from the, I think it was February to October salaries during the strike. The minister, Ngige, said that he cannot independently make that decision, that the issue is still in court, that is left for the courts to decide. The National Industrial Courts will be done to guide the federal government on what to do with the withheld 8-month salary. And he said that the matter is in court. We will be waiting for the court to call us back. And also the issue of why they registered Conway. Remember, that was also in court. So these are the various, because ASU also took the federal government to court on why they would have allowed Conway to be registered. So they said there are quite a few issues before the court that they're going to await the court's ruling before they can agree on if they should pay the salaries of the 8 months that the ASU lecturers went on strike.
So on the e-naira, Bloomberg did a reality check on our e-naira, the digital currency.
We launched.
A year after, and it's so sad. It's so depressing for even I to read. So according to this report in The Nation, only 1 out of every 200 Nigerians, which amounts to 1% of our total population, that have subscribed to the e-naira. You know, the digital currency was an option that the CBN had created as an option to the Bitcoin system. And the report says Nigeria ranks the highest in Africa, 11th in the world, that, you know, subscribes to these Bitcoins. Okay. But they did not give that same love to the CBN's digital currency when it came out. And that, you know, the e-naira just, you know, remains unsubscribed. I would say that apart from the first noise around the e-naira when the CBN launched it, they didn't do more. So
it's not really about Nigerians.
So it's not about Nigerians, really. It's about them.
The system.
You know, the people who usually do businesses online, who get paid with this Bitcoin and all of that, cryptocurrencies. What did you do to reach out to them, to offer them? How many of them did you find out, you know?
Did you convert into influencers?
Yes, into influencers. How many popular people are talking about it? So for people to gain trust of it. So the CBN needs to sit up and do something.
I have a very important story. The dollar worsening in the case of petrol. We've had a bit of petrol scarcity, which is a bit unexplained because this explains the issue. So the executive secretary of the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, Clement Isong, has explained why there's a bit of scarcity, that the cost of moving petrol from the mother vessel that brings it in, the NNPCL, mother vessel, with a daughter vessel to the shores had risen. So usually it should be about, and it's paid for in dollars. Usually it was about $200,000 to rent per day the vessel that would move from the mother ship into onshore. And that the cost has gone from $200,000 per day to $450,000 per day. That does not include the fact that they are going to be paying dollars for the NPA use of facility They are also going to be paying Nigeria Maritime, the NIMASA, for security in dollars. So, and dollar is not available. That's why we don't have enough PMS. The mother vessels are available with PMS. The cost of transporting it and paying in dollars, and paying NIMASA in dollars, and paying NP in dollars is why we don't have enough fuel available. The conversation is around the fact that it will take 10 days to even move. So you're talking from $200,000 to $450,000, and we don't have fuel. So if there are areas that we can change it into Naira, so that they can pay for these things in Naira as opposed to dollars, because everybody is demanding dollars within a Naira-driven economy. We should say we're a dollar economy now.
We are buying the products in dollar now. These are all, so Nigerians are not, we're not sure what we want.
NPA can be paid in Naira.
What I'm just saying that the vessel that is bringing it, they're not collecting Naira now. It's a Nigerian vessel.
And they say the hike was due to diesel. The cost of diesel to move it had gone up, so they had to increase the price.
Let's move on to the punch.
We are bearing dollars in our home.
We need
radical,
drastic,
shaky.
The punch. Presidential town hall. Economy security dominate as Atiku Tinubu skip debate. 19 die as Tanzania plane plunges into lake. ISOP attacks claimed over 15,000 so far. PDP crisis won't stop Atiku's victory, says Senator Urogide. FRSC backs officer who injured pregnant woman. Moribund Ajayi still spends 29 billion naira on personnel. Half salary ASU ESCO meets, lecturers more sit at home. Okay, so...
the sad situation with the plane crash went all over the place yesterday that in Tanzania, a plane carrying a 48-seater plane drowned. Well, it landed sharp, but it drowned. And about 19 people were confirmed dead. 24 people survived. The figure wasn't clear as to if the 19 that died included some of the rescuers might have drowned along the trying to rescue the people. But what they confirmed was that they don't know if the entire plane was filled to the field. It was possible that two people were not on board, died during the rescue effort. I had goes out told that lost their lives. Air flight still is one of the safest ways to move around. It's just that whenever something goes wrong, its fatality is always huge. But
all right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still looking over the papers. What's the story? I was going to take the story of the town hall meeting yesterday. So yesterday there was a town hall meeting that was scheduled for all the major presidential candidates to attend. Okowa, who is the vice president of Atiku on the PDP, represented Atiku. Peter Obi was there and a whole bunch of others. And when asked why Asiwaju couldn't make it, his spokesperson of the campaign, Mr. Ononuga, said specifically that they were in Minna because they actually have a schedule that's been approved by the party, and they had a town hall meeting being held exactly the same time in Minna, Niger State. And it's important for them to always consider their schedules before coming up with these media town hall meetings, so they already have their plans, but they couldn't leave what they had already planned to be there. But it was an interesting conversation where most of the candidates were speaking mostly on economy and insecurity. And I think many of them did agree that we need more foot soldiers, we need more boots on the ground, as said by Okowa. And so get more soldiers, we need more intelligence, we need to support the welfare of our soldiers, we need to diversify economy. So many of them really spoke around what needs to be done. But I guess the real question is who's going to do, who can do it, who has the boldness and the confidence to actually get it done.
Who would Nigerians give the mandate to do it?
Yes, that's the real conference. Who would Nigerians give the mandate to do it?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Steel company, I have the story here on how much has been spent from 2016 till date. So from data collected from the appropriation bill for 2016 to the one proposed for 2023, Ajayi Steel Company has had a total of 29.35 billion allocated to cover personal costs and cost of, servicing, like gen and all of that at that place, and it is still moribund. It's not working, but they continue to budget for staff and all of that. So this report just...
For years.
There's a breakdown of every year, 3-something billion to 1.106 billion. What exactly was the plan of the federal government within this period? That would explain.
And so it's one thing to have... Did they actually spend that money?
Yes.
Was just budgeted?
Total of
budgeted
29 billion has been spent.
Skeletally.
Spent, yes.
29 billion spent on something that is not working or producing
some
income.
For salaries and wages, 3 billion, per year and all of that. But that means the staff for that steel complex still resume at work and close.
And to do what?
To do what exactly?
Yeah,
okay.
So I have a story. An officer of with the Federal Road Safety Corps, Monday Olamigoke, is being accused of harassing a pregnant woman. So the story is that on the Ilesha-Akure highway, they had stopped a bus filled with people. This eyewitness account is saying that for them, they were stopped in between two trailers, and they felt that it was not right for them to have stopped them when there was an oncoming trailer. And so when the officers finally got to them, they were all shouting, "Why would you do that? This is dangerous." And when they got out, one of the eyewitnesses said that the officer mistakenly hit the woman and then she slumped. But there are other stories saying that no, he hit her, he beat her, and while she was bleeding. Meanwhile, on the other side, the FRS is saying that what actually happened was that that bus was overfilled with people, and so that's why they were stopped. And when they stopped, the driver didn't stop immediately. He was actually trying to run them off the road before they finally got him to stop. And that the woman fell, yes, but he did not. In fact, it was the officer that was injured on his ear. And when the woman slumped, this officer was the one that took her to the hospital. She had no injuries or any bleeding, but, and she's been revived. The family have been they've spoken to the husband. Husband says that his pastor is going to handle it and he will get back to everyone. Okay,
moving on quickly to Daily Sun. Flood, 51 dead, 254 communities submerged. INEC under attack over voter registration accused of bias against some zones. I'll believe legacies of credible elections, massive infrastructure, says Buhari. ASU NEC meets over half salary payment. Ugwanyi, our only leader in Enugu, declares Mba. Town hall meeting, Obi Kokonso, Okowa Abiola clash on insecurity and economy. Oshimba Jozo Dima, NSA, INEC, share build for editors conference in Owerri. Okay, which story?
So the president was speaking, was represented, by the chief of staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. He was talking at the Legislative Mentorship Initiative, and at the State House over the weekend spoke about how the president has a plan to leave a legacy of free and fair elections, and that there's a lot of significant investment being done by this administration to ensure there's free and fair election towards, in 2023. He also spoke about the fact that Nigeria is going to be the third most populous nation in the world after India and China by 2050, and he was speaking that Nigeria should have a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. Then a lot was said about what he's done in this administration. A lot as general reports, but the core of it was we should expect free and fair election as a legacy from the Buhari-led administration to Nigeria.
Yes, and also in Adamawa State, ATSEMA, that's the Adamawa State Emergency Management, has confirmed that due to the flood, 51 people have lost their lives. They said that half the local governments in the state were severely hit by the flood, and lives and property were lost. They said that the effect of the flood was quite heavy. It wasn't, the impact was not as they had anticipated. It was much worse. But they also say that the Northeast Development Commission had also disbursed some relief materials. They go on to make a whole list of some of the food items and other materials that were received to be given to those in the camps. So
INEC is being attacked, saying that they are having issue of voter registration, over registration in certain areas, and they're being biased against certain zones. I took that story because I also had a bit of that concern, because when I went to try to get my PVC, the officer was asking me if I had a previous PVC and then re-registered. He said, if you had a previous PVC and then you registered, that's over-registration. It's going to totally nullify it. So many people made that mistake where you're supposed to actually renew or transfer or do something. You cannot just take a whole new PVC because already in the database. So if they see that you have double registration, it's likely to be invalid. So many are now claiming that it's intentional for INEC to do this to differentiate some areas, certain areas, and well, that's debatable. But
I remember they gave that information. That information, yes, that you don't double register. If you register before, renew or update.
Yes.
It wasn't.
So, but some are saying that they are not registering in certain zones in certain parts of the country. Okay, moving on quickly now to Vanguard. FG pushing manufacturers' orders out of existence, says MAN, NECA, and ASIMA. MAN says 5 stepchildren ablaze over wife's alleged denial of sex. Nigeria must kill idea of same-faith ticket in 2023, says Northern Christians. Withheld salaries, how Minister Asu bosses personality clash, aggravating situation. Tinubu healthier than Atiku, says APC PCC. Nasani collaborates with Italy, Jordan, Czech Republic to revolutionize agric in Nigeria. Transmission, upload of results. Political party CSOs tackle INEC over public view of polling results. NAF airstrikes, kill ISWAP commanders, Ali, Kwaya, Buka, American, and others. 2023 election, opportunity to rewrite Nigeria's history, says CAN on NIACOM.
A major headline quickly. The organized private sector made up of these 5 groups, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, that's NASIMA, Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, the Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industries, NASI, Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, have all lamented that the federal government continued policies on manufacturers are stifling them and pushing them out of business. And they said that the National Assembly presently have about 17 bills, prepared to levy more on the organized private sector and their businesses. They said there's also a proposed increase in excise duty for tobacco, spirit, alcohol, and non-alcoholic beverages. And, this continues to add increasing costs on production. They also have to deal with epileptic power, supply, insecurity, access to financing, multiple taxation, among others. And that, presently our economy is witnessing some growth. But this growth is not without the, manufacturing sector. And that if you continue to underestimate what they do to provide employment by, just continually levying and taxing, pushing them to further either increase or downsize and all of that, the growth that we are experiencing will continue to reduce. It will not reflect. I think I agree with them.
I agree.
There must be a balance in how we do these things.
Sadly, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return and move on to our hot topic of the day, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Assault on women is something we've observed over the years, and we talked about it a few times. So recently, the Osun State Police Command on Sunday has been silent on the outcome of its probe into the alleged assault of a female cop, Inspector Bamidele Olorunsogo, by her superior, Matthew Ajayi. The 2 police officers have been attached to the Ode-Omu Police Division in Osun State. Olorunsogo had accused Ajayi, the divisional crime officer, of assault. She, in a video that went viral, displayed open wounds, allegedly inflicted on her by Ajayi after they refused to have an affair with him. Now, we can't verify her claims, but we did see the open wounds on her. But the issue also can be related to a recent story of a woman, I think it was also in Enugu State, who was stripped naked because she allegedly stole snail. We've discussed this over and again. I think something happened, wasn't it on Onitsha or was it in Anambra sometime, I think last year or something, where a woman too was stripped naked. I can't remember what happened with her own issue, where with the governor's wife, the first lady got involved, and we got the National Assembly member together. So we talked about it, but we keep talking about this thing over and over again. How do we curb this incessant assault on women? How do we curb the fact that anger gets somebody to the point of assault? Confrontation has to be physical, not verbal anymore. How do we get people to have conversations? And it's important to us on this show specifically because one of the reasons why this show was created was to let people have options of resolving issues, of sharing views that are diverse but yet valid. So that's why we're bringing up this conversation again. How do we help these people? And we also want to use the opportunity to bring back the issue so that it's not swept under the carpet, because they've been silent on this in Osun State. The police command has been silent. We haven't been able to hear any reports. And there have been so many other issues like this that just get swept under the carpet, and we choose not to have it swept under the carpet. You can join the conversation on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Ima.
One of the strongest ways to deter any negative behavior or criminal act is to put consequence to it and trend the consequence as well as even over the act itself that happened. For instance, this Osun case, imagine that, you know, the face of the man becomes, I know the police force have been able to sanitize police and citizens' abuses over the years. We've started hearing some of the consequences, the number of people laid off work, people made to face criminal charges, but we've seen some covered up.
Yes.
For instance, the one in Iba, the one that happened in that Iba area then, you know, that this was after point blank shot 2 guys in the bus, already handcuffed guys, and nothing happened. And so this one is such that put the face of the police officer, senior police officer, out there, because there's nowhere in the world that the consequence of a subordinate behavior is to abuse them, assault them to the point of bleeding, that they can do like this, see my body. Even in the cadre of police ranking, it's either demotion, displacement or something. But you cannot carry somebody's wife, daughter, child, anybody, because you're in the police and beat the person, and there'll be mark wounds. It's not possible. So let's see consequence to...
It's important to also let Nigerians know that the Inspector General of Police, Idris Alkali Ababa, actually specifically ordered an investigation, which is supposed to be 2 days. But the reason why this story came up, because it was 5 days after the Osun State Command still didn't come up with an update. And even while he was asked, he just replied, the reporter said that no update yet. So we are bringing up this again to the fore because we want it to be investigated.
Yes.
We want to get a response.
And sorry, quickly to add that the area commander in Ikire was asked to quiz them. Quiz who? You know, they can investigate into it, but to quiz them is like...
That's an investigation. Quizzing is part of investigation.
No. Let's not do family set. Let's not quiz them like as if we're doing a family. Your brother and sister come. What happened? You know, that kind of thing.
That's your own interpretation of quizzing. It might not be that. Anyway, let me come to you, Mariam. Your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this is...
The assault, generally.
Yes, just assault, just gender-based violence, you know. This is a huge conversation that we're having constantly. And, you know, we've just... Growing up, you see down your street, and sometimes if you're not in some of these communities, you think that it's over, that it doesn't happen anymore. But thank God to social media, we get to see some of these stories, even in far-off places and communities where we would normally, you know, we would not be there to see it. And so I'm happy that, you know, that a light is being shown on this and we're talking about it. And it's important because I believe strongly that it's a cultural thing. It just seems that it's okay to harass and assault a woman. That's men doing it to women. It's almost okay to do that and acceptable to do that, even culturally. Where you would see even like a group of men will be doing it and women are just standing aside, looking at it happening, you know, and blaming the victim when it happens. So the only way, because the question was, you know, how did we get here? What do we need to do? The thing is, we need to keep talking about it like we're doing now. And secondly, there has to be consequences for this. And it cannot be dealt only as a family matter where we'll sit you there, okay, who was at fault, who's not at fault. First of all, arrest somebody. Yeah. Arrest them for the assault. Punish them for the assault. If there was something else that had brought about it, you can punish the other person for those crimes. But to come and just attack people and strip them naked, we need to arrest people and punish them for stripping women naked. I don't know, and I see it's mostly men. How do you even do it? You see a woman who's old enough to be your mother, or, you know, and you strip that person naked, and you're comfortable, you know, watching her in the way that you know, shaming her. I don't even know how, you know, how people think and carry out that sort of thing. So it's important that people are punished and then they are made an example of. And also empower women in such a way that they can speak up. So if a woman were to report this to a traditional head or the police station, she should not be, you know, tossed, whatever her evidence is tossed away. She should be empowered in such a way that other women are able to stand up for themselves, and if they cannot, if they're overpowered, they know where to go to and where they will get justice.
All right, let me come to you, Murtabak. Your thoughts on this, because, I mean, it's quite painful. In my head, I wanted to think, do we have a female Inspector General of Police? But must I wait for a female Inspector General of Police to have these kind of things addressed? Must we have a house full of a gender-based, a gender-balanced force to have these things change? When do we begin to fix this problem?
So, thankfully, we have a lot of he for she's. These are men that understand that women are an equal contributor to the growth of the society, and they respect and value that presence, you know. They don't see a woman as substandard or subhuman or subservient. They understand and appreciate what a woman brings to the table. We have enough of them, actually. But that's on one end. On the other end of this conversation this is cultural. You know, it's been said, but it's cultural. It's cultural to shame and strip a woman. It's historical to do it. But it's not all things that are historical that are right. And several things in our history that were culturally known by us as what we do, we've changed. So this can also be changed. We must become a society that now frowns and do not allow anyone feel like a form of justice. We must forbid. The same way we stopped killing twins. We must, as a society, forbid that if you want to carry out justice against a woman, that you want to feel like you want to punish a woman, you got to call her a prostitute or to strip her naked. Those are the two things we do. If a woman does something you don't like, you say, oh, she's a prostitute, or you now strip her naked. The speed with which men dive for a woman's clothes to remove it. Yes. In the market space, they will say, she's wearing something too short. Who could carry everything up? And they will lift up a woman's dress. This should be forbidden. And how do you do that? Is by everybody that has done it being severely punished for it. And it's not lip service. The first thing that should be done, it was not a doubt. Everybody knew that policeman, the policeman that was a senior, beats a junior policewoman. Under no circumstance you do that. Be saying we're first investigating. First, you are suspended. You know, that's a language. That's a language we want to see. When you drop that kind of language, every other person will start sitting up that we can't get away with this thing again, because many men have gotten away with doing this. Everybody will gather and they lynch. Everybody will gather and they will beat up and they will strip naked, and it is seen as normal. When we start having quick, swift action on this thing, and Lagos is still enjoying. This is Lagos. Lagos is enjoying a lot. But other states don't have, they don't even have a unit. The way Lagos has a ministry for domestic violence and sexual reports.
There's some times, when I'm thinking about, I'm trying to see who could have helped. Who could have actually helped change this narrative? In the past, I know, the first ladies were very strong in things like that. I remember this Bangla's wife, I can't remember her name. Mariam. Yeah, Mary. I mean, there's some of these issues that this is what first ladies, you hold, like, you change the narrative. The local government, the chairman of the local government. You see, I keep saying local government to be as if I'm trying to have an issue against them. But you see, they are the closest to the people. If you don't have a budget as a local government chairman, your number one task is to reorientate. Let's change the mind. Okay, I don't have money to do roads. I don't have money to clear gutters. But let's have consistent town hall meetings, changing the minds of people. This is how we do things. Oh, no matter how this one, bring up life issues. Discuss it. We have your view on your own. Have your view conversation in your various local governments, in your ward areas, in your community.
Town hall.
Have town hall meetings, constantly change the minds of people. Give them options. If somebody stole something, this is what you do. Is, let them know. Talk to the people. It's not governor, it's not president. These are local issues. These are human issues that need human resolution. Well, that's what our first ladies used to be very active in these kind of things.
You're not lying. That's a fact. Remember the naval attack to one young lady sometime in VI, whose father turned out to be a member or a staff with the National Assembly, and how all the first ladies lawmakers ensured that that naval officer that stripped her was brought to book. And then she even sued him and she got, court judgment over it. It was the noise made by the strongest of society that got her that justice faster than anybody else would have done it, or even the court system. And when kidnapping became popular, houses of assembly sat up and said, okay, if a person now dies in your custody, it's death sentence. They reacted. They passed laws. I'm saying this because this is not the first time they are stripping somebody up east. We took a story down east. Is it down or up?
It's down.
Okay, we are down here. We took a story in the past about which state was that the first lady now said, they had gone to help the lady and, they've assisted her. She was supposed to be a witch and they gathered, they beat her, The houses of assembly in these states, who is paying their salary? Why are they sleeping? Exactly. It's becoming a menace in those societies to have him. This woman, one of the videos that we could not share, a woman was stripped and she was made to carry snail on her head because she took it from the shrine.
And there were young boys doing that.
It is now embarrassing. House of Assembly of those states should now pass laws that makes it illegal and put consequence of years of imprisonment on men involved, because these men, all their faces, they were showing in the video. They did not hide. They were beating her with branches, stripped her naked, made her to carry. They did it shamelessly. And so there must be consequence if you want to deter that kind of thing. Pass a law. Let it be law so that when the first ladies are even talking, they have something to read and say, oh, this is illegal in our society. And it's not President Buhari from the federal government or National Assembly that has to pass this law. Each state, local, subnationals can do these things without needing anybody, but they'll wait until we shout. Then you have a first lady respond and say, oh, ladies of your view, my office has responded, we've taken the lady in, we've rehabilitated her. Those are not the Englishes we want. We want the lady's family to be able to say, how dare you strip my mom before I came back? Okay, we've taken the matter to court, and the court have a bill or a law with which they can act and say, okay, now it's a consequence. So that you can prevent future. Yes, so you're in prison for doing this. And then we can have references like that. We detail like that when we have such precedents.
Go ahead, please, Mary.
Yes, I just even want to have this conversation with the women in communities like this. When you sit down at home with the boys or the men that have done this, what do they say to each other? What do you say? Why did you strip this woman naked, this mama that that lives down the street? Probably you know her son or you know her children. How are you comfortable stripping her naked one day and coming back into my house and sitting down and be comfortable? If you can do that to that mama, you can do it to me, your mother, you can do it to me, your sister, What sort of conversations do we have at family levels? That is where we begin to change mindset. It's not when people are...
Oba came here. She said that we don't get shame in shame. She said that we don't have shame, and everything just done anyhow. Yeah. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of gender-based violence, and we're saying it because it's something we've always said over the years, and it seems as though there's no solution in sight. Let me come to you, Tucker.
So people are shaped by communication, and right now, even though we are all together in this our Nigerian space, on those of us in Nigeria that we are in Nigeria, we are actually not together. Many of us are on social media. We don't have a place where we can all commune. We grew up with people going to the Oba's palace, and then there's town hall meeting, and everybody in the village must attend the town hall meeting. So if the Oba has declared there is this sacred thing everybody must not do, there will be announcements. We watch Yoruba movies. Everybody will gather for a meeting, and then it will be announced to everybody, this is what we should do. We don't have that. Even within estates now, to do your estate meetings, people don't show up. Everybody is too busy. And how does information that will transform the society gets dispersed around? We need to go back into, look, when you say local governments should do what will local government do? How would they reach out to people? We need to start having reorientation meeting as a people. How can we do it? Is it physical? Is it in ward level? Can we start gathering? I read a case study of how Martin Luther King and how they did the bus boycott. How they did that was because every black person at that time were attending church services every day. Communication was swift. You come to church, we give you information. Tomorrow you pass it to every other person. We need to start having communities. Because it is when we have communities that you will know that boy and you will look at him and can point at him.
I hear you, but you see, we're not partnering with government because we don't trust the government. Communities, your estate, Mariam Estate, is having a meeting. Government says, I'd like to come and talk to you. I beg, you're not interested. Or they get it out. Church, government would like to come and talk to you. No, they will say that we're partisan.
It's religion.
You know, so what do we want?
We need to open up the communication
because you have
channel.
to partner with the government at some point, regardless of which government is in power, because there's a social responsibility to the people. So these small communities, we don't have a KD anymore, but we now have small estate meetings, small church meetings, Muslim meetings, community. We have those meetings. Government is available. Come and talk to these people. These are what we want to do.
Are you sure government is available, Mariah? Because government can decide to engage on what the policy is.
Government may not be available when we need them to be available because they are only available during elections.
Yes, they are everywhere.
After election, everybody goes in their smaller places, collect their money, and then face their small projects.
You know, another thing is, we're talking about this generally, but with the one that happened with the police officer, it's important that the police make a very...
Yes. I want us to bring us back to... Yes. Let me pause you for a quick second, because Gabriel's been holding for a while. Good morning, Gabriel from Oyo. Oh, I'm so sorry I lost that call. You're talking about
the police needs to be quite visible on the process of investigation in this particular case. They need to show us how this person is being investigated, how the punishment that person receives and the justice that the policewoman would receive for that particular action. Because whether we like it or not, the police know that they are the face of enforcement of the policies, enforcement of the law. And if you're found wanting, what else are you telling people?
Well, the police
then you're also saying
of our culture. No, from this place.
But it's different because they have a constitution. It's an organized body. There are do's and don'ts. There are things that you're meant to do and can carry out. So that's why you wear a uniform. It does not matter if you're Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, whatever your religion or your community. When you're a police officer, this is what is expected of you. And also, you stand as a representative of the Nigerian government and constitution and how you want other Nigerians to behave. So if you fail at that level, then we will continue to fail. That means you're telling women that they have no place to go. If a policewoman in uniform cannot get justice, you are saying to regular Nigerian woman, she has no place to go to get justice.
I wanted to harp on what Miriam said earlier, that, women, what would the women who are sisters and mothers of the men who beat up a woman publicly and stripped her, how would they feel? Would they accommodate them back home? And it's sad to see women at the beginning and the ending of this issue itself. That one is one fact. Talk about you took the Ikeja story.
Yeah.
That, is painful. Where you see women at their homes, because a woman knows what it means to be stripped naked. A woman is the one who knows how indignifying, how degrading it makes a woman feel. It's a woman who will encourage the stripping, the shaving of the head, all sorts of these things. And women who allow it. If one woman, we have women in history. If I saw the movie recently of the Aba riots and how it happened, and how the story sort of focuses on Aba, the town where it happens, and does not emphasize the neighboring Cross River, Akwa Ibom women who took boat rides all the way to Aba to ensure that riot happened.
Support.
Women who started those kind of fights. Women who said, "You dare not strip my kind naked in public." Women who would stand and stop such abuses. And shame on any woman, anywhere in any family, within and outside, who silently thinks it's okay.
Let me take this call from Abimbola. Good morning, Abimbola. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live.
Please, I want to make a comment to what you just said.
Please.
Like you said, I just want to know all women that confidence is not all about how you look. Anyway, but I didn't follow the behavior. I did from what I just deduce from what you said. Women should be confident about themselves, what to carry them on. It's not until you feel indecently or whatever that will have cost a man to you. Then the side of you were talking about communal contribution, how we can help change the narrative about how we build life. Communal relationships and communication oversight is very, very important.
Oh, it was for hard to listen to Bimbola. You know, but you see, as I said again, let's not even also absolve the traditional rulers in this. They have a huge role because we see them going around for parties and, you know, giving the kings are here, the chiefs. You know, there's work to be done, chiefs.
What do they believe in?
What do the chiefs and obas believe? Because we see a lot of them for they attend events. We see many kings, you know, go around. But I'm thinking, what can they do? How can we bring them into this conversation? Because they are the custodians of culture and traditions. And they must be the ones to champion this he for she. They must be the one to champion against this denigration of women.
Can I answer what they believe in? Is good for the other person, not my kind. If it was the Oba's wife, or daughter who did something, the Oba would kill the story. Look at history. How many daughters, princesses, they will not start to do class and status. But what is a stranger passing by? They'll say, Kashi, you know, all sorts of nonsense. Today, it's so painful that we see our Obas only at festivals. We no longer see our Obas pronouncements. Obas used to make pronouncements. In this village, for instance, if the, what they call their own, is it Igwe, you know, says, from today henceforth, any family seen to carry out this kind of practices, ostracized, you will see it will stop. You don't even need laws from National Assembly to make us go through court processes. Their own is faster. Make a pronouncement against it and say, this must not happen again.
Well, the people believe in pronouncements anymore.
This
social media
community.
It's Lagos you are, that's why you think it doesn't work. If Oba makes pronouncements at home, people rush and obey. If they say there's a pronouncement, don't travel on Thursday, we want to do a traditional something ritual, nobody will come out. They'll sit at home. So what are you saying?
Everybody sits now.
But if it is the Oba's daughter that they now say, the thing that she has done is sacrilege, she must move around naked in the village, you see Oba start to consult meetings upon meetings on how they can avert it.
Because it's their own.
Please.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a few phone calls and more. So just stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so let's take a few comments on social media. Nima, you have
Okay, Rolake says, women are the ones behind every problem and solutions. Most men are instigated by women to harm another woman. The laws in Nigeria will never and can never forever favor a woman because the women are the ones who mostly body shame themselves. Justice in Nigeria is a scam. Rolake, this is deep. He says, I don't think, okay, we're talking to Muriel that she recalls Mariam Babangida's better life for rural women correctly. Objectives were education, agriculture, healthcare, but all they did was spend government's fund on projects and zero audit.
So what I was trying to drive at, it's always important to clarify because people just like to hear who they are to what you're saying. What I was trying to say is that first ladies get involved, not necessarily in this kind of issues, but we hear their voices more, their presence, wherever they are. I am the first lady of the state or first lady of the country. There's something, you have a pet project that we hear your voices, but in recent times, we've not heard a lot of these things in recent times where I talked about Fayemi's wife.
Oh,
she was very active in the issue of was it rape? Was it rape?
On rape, on women involvement in politics, she put a lot of
quite vocal. So we need more of those multiple voices of women speaking. Yes, let's give you more comments.
Oh, okay.
Any more?
So
I mean, as we wrap up on this, I mean, as I said, it's a continuous conversation that we will continue to have, unfortunately. Until we have real laws that change across the country, not just in states. I said Lagos has a few laws protecting women, but we heard that the woman was stripped naked in Ikeja. I can't verify the story, but somebody would just send us a message that somebody was stripped naked. So, but you see, when it happens, somebody must report it. But we just we instead of reporting it, we just call them and have a meeting and try to get them to resolve it. Let's do the proper thing. Let's report it to the police.
People who were witnessing it. Yes. How did they feel?
So there are proper ways of it. There's even the DSVRT that you can go.
Yes.
You can call them up, speak to them, and report these cases. They are there to help. So especially in Lagos State, we know that Lagos State has the laws, but other states too must take that cue and begin to have laws to protect women. This act of stripping women naked must stop. Period. So I have to wrap up. Let me take Tunji's call from Ekiti. Good morning, Adetunji.
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, please, I just want to contribute to the issue that is going on.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm very, very delighted. I just want to give a kudo to one of our former boss ladies, the person of Mrs. Payemi. He has done a great deal in this aspect you are talking about. But the problem we are facing is that most of the women are stepping. They concentrate more or less on the West instead of their health. Most of these women, most especially the wife of the chairman of the local government, instead of them to focus on this, it is the way they focus on, so that they can liberate a lot of people.
They focus on what?
And another issue is this issue. Instead of them to focus on their health, for them not to be beaten by their husbands or whatsoever, but they focus on the wealth, the money.
Wealth, okay.
Yes, exactly. That's another point to it. Then another issue is this issue of religion. In fact, I just watched one of your shows about yesterday. You had with Okay Pakati about side chick that we are talking about forgiveness. That's another issue to it. If they can just make a law to be a law, irrespective of anybody, I repeat, irrespective of anybody, this society will be a place to live in.
Right.
Because if you
Thank you, Adetunji. In Lagos State, they have something called COUSTO, which is the Committee of Wives of Lagos State, and they do a lot of things within that organization. We need more of that across the country.
Yeah.
We need more. Maybe they have in other states, and I'm not aware. Yeah. But the Committee of Wives of various leaders within the state should come out and these kind of find the issues that are prevalent within your society and focus on it and ensure
the bill that criminalizes this in your state. Women,
yes.
It's an act against women. It's gender-based
specifically, not the one that is just general.
Push the bill.
Specifically against stripping women naked.
In the
push the
down
bill.
east states too, let the women push the bill to stop and criminalize this. Someone is saying online that we've had a long-time generational culture that encourages gender-based violence against women. Going forward, we should deliberate about, one, how to train our male children to protect their female, train our male children to see female as equal partners, and three, pay more attention to our male children to respect women. Yeah. So, you know, this has to start at home, so that when your friends start it, you will not join. You'll be like, no, I cannot join you people to strip somebody naked. What are you enjoying in it?
That's what
you know, what do you derive in it?
See?
And then when they bring the matter to the traditional rulers, why are you asking them to state what happened? Why are you not getting everybody locked up first for saying, did you people do this to this woman? Everybody first to the dungeon.
We can see your
if
picture.
They are dungeon.
Remember the lecturer that sat down
and
was cutting her dress off. You were sitting down beside your daughter's age mate. That could have been your daughter. And you were, in your head, it was okay to strip her. And it did not come across as being perverted, disgusting to you.
We have to wrap up on this, but I think in a nutshell, this practice must stop, period.
100%.
And we expect that those who are leaders in whatever capacity should first of all treat the issue first before start asking. Just like Nima said, when this kind of matter is brought, first of all, detain everybody, show the community must see that you are actually very, very passionate about and concerned about the issues of gender-based violence. And I think this must be seen across, but even with the police, I believe that the police are a reflection of who we are, but Miriam has said that even though they're a reflection of who we are, but they are still based, they're an organization based on rules and principles. So what are the principles and laws within the police force? How are they supposed to treat each other, colleagues? How are they supposed to treat women within the police? These are conversations. This thing that happened in Osun State, we don't want it swept under the carpet. We're hoping that the Inspector of General Police will follow through. The same way there are so many cases, we're asking him to follow through, even across the country, on issues gender-based violence against women. Please, it's something that we don't want us to sweep under the carpet. Let's go on a break. When we come back, another hot topic. We heard that ASU is having an issue getting paid from the federal government. What are your thoughts on this? Should they be paid? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us now, unfortunately, we can't have the talk on ASU. I know I initially introduced that. We'll discuss that another time. It's an important issue, but we'll discuss it some other time. We have on the show right now the Lagos Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Corps Commander Olusegun Ogedengbe. Welcome to the show, sir. Ogungbemide. Yes. In my mind, it was just Ogedengbe. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So he'll be discussing the initiative for this month to make sure people know what to do to avoid speeding, overloading, and avoid unsafe tires in order to ensure they arrive safely at their destinations. He will also be discussing safety parameters for the Ember months, especially as we approach the Yuletide season. You can join the conversation on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
The holiday seasons are here. Many people will be traveling very soon. What have you observed so far in this season, and what is your advice to commuters?
I don't think there's anything quite unique, especially this year, because in the last 7 months, we've been battling the issue of traffic gridlock along the corridor, and it's quite huge. It's been a big embarrassment to virtually all of us. So I would say it has gone a long way to really prepare us for this season. So we were waiting, and we are here already. So all the machineries have been put in place. We have our men, the operatives are there 24 hours, and we also started our sensitization program, which is a uniquely selected theme for this year as a result of the research that have been carried out in the past month. That is, avoid speeding, overloading, and unsafe tires for you to arrive safely. And that is the tempo.
Unsafe tires.
Under where we are operating now.
You took the issue of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway out of my mouth, because that was going to be my first question, because, you know, while the construction is going on, which is something that we need, we also need proper traffic management, and it's not been so evident. There's also been assault and criminality on that axis. So I wanted to know in facts how your scheduling is on that road. Do you people still close after certain work hours, or your men, are they always there 24/7? How are they managing that road exactly in facts and bullet points?
Last year, I made a statement in one of the media houses that we're going to expect that whatever we're experiencing on Lagos-Ibadan Express in the form of gridlock will be child's play compared to what will happen later when we get closer to Lagos. Because we are not treating a virgin land. We are treating a road that is already existing, that is being plied by huge traffic on a daily basis. When we're talking about Ibafo, Mowe axis, we're talking of construction in transit. But this one, we're talking of convergence of all the vehicular activities heading towards the same direction. And we prepared. And the unfortunate thing about that terrain is that there's no room for alternative movements where you can say, okay, let's assess alternative routes. Because the one they're even calling alternative route is a NNPC pipeline, which is even riskier for anybody to say is going to do any major work there. So we are all expected to concentrate on that major road. We were prepared. We prepared the men. And on daily basis, you agree with me that anytime you always see FRSC operatives there, but we cannot be there 24 hours. Because naturally, as late as 9, 10, depending on incidents, when there are crashes, we'll recall back to save the situation. But for me to say I line my men up there for 24 hours, I will not be saying the truth here. But the major part of the day, that's from morning till around 9, 10. They are always there. I was opportune to meet with one sage, and this issue of Kara came up. And he confirmed to me that he was in that traffic for 4 hours. One time coming from Abeokuta. I'm talking of the Nobel laureate. And he said his boys were complaining, but he was not complaining because he believed that that is his own share of what development that is expected to take place on that road. And that is what we are all missing. I picked it up immediately because, you know, it's been a thing bothering my mind that why are we having this crisis? Before now, we were having huge traffic and the road was not as huge as this. We were still, even one at times. And when there's free flow, every other person will actually go. The share of everybody's burden is for you to know that, oh, this is a special season. It can be business as usual. When it used to be 1 hour. But now, because they are doing construction, the same thing goes with when there's a crash along that road. For the period we are going to clear that crash, is the burden all of us will have to share. But what do we see? People will start, impatient, they will jump queue. Some will go against the traffic, which is criminal, because it's an attempt to kill somebody. Yes. And it's even worse now, because they ban use of motorbike from Lagos. They've all moved to Osun State, and they are picking people from Ibaforehand in rove against the traffic to Lagos.
Okay, let me take a few more questions.
So, well, I know that the Federal Road Safety Commission isn't meant to conduct traffic, you know, but it is sometimes a bit disheartening when we see traffic situations and your men are standing, you know. It's not, it's not my job. So they stand.
That happens in Lagos a lot.
They are looking.
Because it's last man.
It's last man's job or police is not my brief. And I wish we can have a reorientation where, even though it is not your core brief to conduct traffic, your presence should mitigate people from disobeying the law right in front of you, even though it isn't your job. What would you say to that, sir?
I'm hearing this for the first time. I'm telling you the fact. When I say I'm hearing this, if I say in the last 7 months, I've been managing traffic along the corridor. You can imagine, we started with Otedola. His later, even last month, came around to join us because we were treating kilometers 0 to 3, and our men were there. And you realize that Otedola is actually flowing because there's no room for shunting. And that's the difference between Otedola and Kara. And while we were managing Otedola, Kara came up, and I still moved my men there. Trace, if you are moving, you hardly see trace at that corridor. Yes. That's the burden I've taken. It would be irresponsible. It would be irresponsible of any of my men to see a gridlock and start doing patrol.
But it happens. What she just said happens a lot on the Badagry Expressway. Okay. And the officers are my friends, but they do. They continue to do patrol, check cars while the traffic is behind. And once you're able to come out of the traffic, they stop you. I even had it just last month. You know, this area as well, in inward Lagos. So usually I just excuse them and say, because LASMA exists in Lagos, they're leaving it for LASMA.
It's not really, it's not totally that. It's misappropriation of discretion. Because if you are, like now, there's a problem. I do caution them on that. Look at that car. For you to now go to the bottleneck and start arresting is an indication that you don't know what you are doing. So if I receive information from members of the public which has come severally, they didn't say they are not controlling traffic, but they pick issues on the fact that this is not the appropriate place for them to do enforcement. And the next thing I send signal to them to evacuate that place. Because
of social media, I think Nigerians are able to see that madness is not exclusive to Africa. Around the world, everybody can go crazy. Yes. I think people are now saying that it's clear that without laws, without putting certain things in place, anybody can go crazy. And I'm saying that to say this, that the least we could do is knowing that people will take one way. Well, you see, just like you said, Otedola, nobody takes one way because it's been cordoned off. Yes. We need to do that across. But yes, there's no way to detour. So we have no choice but to enter these 2 lanes. Then, once that is done, where people clear, you can't get into the shoulders or to the side road. You maintain that sanity. Secondly, if you have well-lit roads, if we can have electricity, when it's well-lit, people feel safer, where I can see everything. But when it's like, it's dark, you don't want to be there, you are now finding ways to move around. You find it because they want criminals to take over. So people will try to, is it flight or
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Because I don't want to be in a situation where I can be robbed. So I find a way to move into the shoulder so I can get off this place because it's too dark. So if we put certain things in place, people will follow the rules. But sometimes as if things are not in place, that's why people finding ways to circumvent the laws.
It's just an indirect way of justifying what is wrong. Because yes, I spoke about the issue of a speed limit one time, and somebody came up with the implication of if you limit me to 100 kilometers per hour, and I come across armed robber, and I needed to go on 160. In the course of going on 160, you lose control and get yourself killed or you kill somebody. If we know that we are having crisis with security, why not divert your attention to security? Why not say, because we know it's unrealistic for now, for government to say we are going to line up the express with traffic street lights. So why can't we face the reality now and call on security agents and say, oh, we are having this crisis. When there are hold-ups and people are kept late, then there's need for security men to be, which has been coming and they've been intervening. And you recall that it's in the course of trying to struggle out of this gridlock that they end up blocking the entire thing. So what we are trying to prevent, so what eventually happens? We are all there stopped.
Yes. You know, one of the questions I always say I would like to ask you people when I see you is, what percentage of Nigerians would you say are good drivers?
Oh.
The truth. What percentage are truly good drivers? And then what can we do as a state, as a nation to make it different? Because we hear of other countries, we hear, oh, they drive well.
Good driver in Nigeria.
You know, they go through a proper driving school. Yes. They start from when they are 16 and make sure that they... But we don't really have that culture here in Nigeria. How many people would you say, out of 100 drivers I see a day, how many would you say are good drivers?
Did you go through driving school? Do you
yes,
drive?
Yes, I went through
driving school.
Yes, I did that.
Rather than giving you a specific percentage, I would rather narrate it this way. Okay. That what is the percentage of Nigerian drivers that are locationally sane?
Locationally sane.
Yes.
At the time.
Okay, as in that moment.
Yes, that the decision they make behind steering is not determined by the situation they find themselves. Okay. It's not that they are not learned. It's not that they don't know how to drive. It's not that they don't know the traffic rules. But they are being judged. Their sense of driving is being judged by what is happening at that moment. The man that you just narrated now, whoever that passed through that driving school, finding himself at Kara in that gridlock, has he been applying what he learned at the driving school? Because he's in a hurry to get home. He sees an opening and faces against the traffic.
Very few go through driving school.
Before now, I will agree with you. But with the regime that FRC has put in place in the last few years, where you have to go through, you can't get your driver's license without going through driving school. There could be compromises. I'm not denying that. You understand? But the way, you know, Nigerians now, when you create a process, they will try to. Yes. So the more they create the inroad, the more we try to block it.
When you get someone for traffic infraction, what do you do to them? Do you take them to a place
if you get to my office now, the corridor, that's the desk where they attend to offenders, you see the screen there, where people are being tutored on driving. Okay. It's just about 1 hour before you're even allowed to go and make your payment. In fact, I think that's the most verified means of tutoring our offenders. Okay. Because when I go to motor parks to give public enlightenment, I get there maybe around 7. The average driver has picked the first passenger as early as 5 and has gone. When I want to talk to him through radio, like we are doing now, the man that is driving is not even listening to what we are saying. He's listening to music. When I say his pages of newspaper, what do you see? He goes to the pages of where we have sports. So the areas where we reach them is either the church, the mosque, or the lecture we give them when they are arrested. That's why I don't joke with enforcement. The other day I said I arrested 59,000 Lagosians last year. And somebody said, why? And I said, that's the best way to curb a road traffic crash. Because when I arrest you for not having wiper, it's an indication that I don't want you to go and get crashed when rain is falling. When I arrest you for not having tires, that's why I've never been in line with those that say, don't do enforcement within the township. When I arrest you within the township, you will not go and get yourself killed on the highway. That's intelligent patrol. So that's the essence of all the effort we put in place. For today, I would rather give Nigeria, let me say 80% when it comes to driver's license regime, new regime. Because if the Western world are celebrating us, we should know that we are getting there.
All right, let me go on a break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still speaking with our guests. There's this question that's what I wanted to ask.
Yes. So I wanted to ask about the 2 quick questions. One is an acknowledgement of the fact that we've had several engagements. I've had several engagements with FRSC men because I tend to travel to my estate and I pass through the express, so they always stop me. And I had a conversation with someone at Ekpe toll gate, and I was telling him that because right in front of me, 2 guys ran off, and I waited. And I told him sometimes I feel guilty that I'm being punished for waiting. Like I feel every time I wait, I'm the one that my time gets taken. You check my documents, you will check my license, you will check my sea caution, check my fire extinguisher, then you will not let me go. But you have taken my time. Others that ran away.
They've done their job.
Yes. So he now told me, and I'm actually, he told me that you don't know what we do to them, that we take their details and they get flagged down at other points in time. And I wanted to find out that interagency relationship, can't we have this same set of professionalism going to other agencies like our wonderful Nigerian police force men on the streets, that when you engage them, you can have that kind of conversation with them. I have also dealt with police officers. I've never been able to have that kind of conversation with those I meet on the road. What can we do interagency-wise to ensure that maybe from the recruitment, how do you people do it? That's one. Number 2...
Wait, let me answer first.
Let me just put the second one.
Because
we'll get it. It's very short. The second question is faded number plates. What can be done concerning faded number plates?
Yeah, reached there.
Okay, as regards the orientation of our men, I think ours is right from the recruitment stage, where we have our vision that is being guided by our mission, and every staff is placed on the same template. This is what, the way we came in, we were rated as an elite corps. An elite corps means you are trying to structure yourself differently from what the society has been used to. But along the line, there could be some measures of derailment because they are also product of the same society. So, and I also want to stand on behalf of other agencies here. But when you look at the echelon of all the agencies, there is no single leadership that will tell its men to go and misbehave on the road. But what you see out there is quite different from, because I know every Wednesday I give lectures to my men. Every morning before they go on the road, they are giving briefing that if anything goes wrong and you are coming back to FRSC, you are going to pay for it. And I also know, because severally I've been invited by the police and other agencies to come and give them talk. We do have that collaboration. And if there are programs being run by LASMA, they do invite my men. I do invite them to our own too. So if that's why you don't need to keep quiet. Our judgments are normally run on social media. Administrations are not run on social media. I've said that severally. If you have an infraction against my men, call me. My office is there, my number is there. But if you throw it on social media, there are 2 things you are doing to this nation. You are sending fear to outside world because you have downplayed or you have downrated your law enforcement agencies. So when they are coming into the country, rather than seeing them in positive light, they see them as, what do you call it now, Dracula. Yes. They see them as scary. So, and those other Western countries are not doing that to their own. Yes. Is it not, it's not that there are no issues out there.
Black Lives Matter.
But we just see, when we watch TV, we see wonderful policemen, we see wonderful enforcement agencies. But here, the only one you see on social media is the one that is collecting bribe. You've not shown us the one that is saving lives. Yes. You've not shown us the one that is clearing road traffic crashes. You've not shown us the one that go to Kara and see the man that is controlling traffic and throw it on social media. So until we get there, we might not really.
I want to say something that might get me in trouble.
Yes.
Because I feel that. Go ahead, let me let you do it.
Okay. So on the issue of the number plate, we call it number plate violations. And there are so many indices that fall under that. One, broken number plates, faded number plates, non-use of number plate at all. All this falls under the categories of safety and security. Security in the sense that when your number plate is faded, the National Road Traffic Regulation says 60 meters away, I should be able to view your number plate. Okay, we are condemning it, we are reacting. But if your vehicle is stolen now, and you tell policeman, my vehicle is stolen, and this is the number, and it's faded, and it passed through the police checkpoint, how would they know it? If somebody does it and run away, how do we pick the number? I've just told you we stop running after vehicles on the road because we have a robust database.
So how do what do you do?
What you do is that when your number plate is faded, you apply to Motor Vehicle Administration for replacement. And it's going to be replaced.
That's NVA.
NVA, Lagos State NVA, is not road safety. And don't go through any tout. Go get across. I can even give you the number of the GM. Because that's what he said.
Please don't cut corners. I go to NVA
because
every year for dealer number. You have to go to allow sign.
I know. You know what I. Now that we know we are having issues, if I tell you here that driver's license is 10,350 naira per 3 years, you people end up calling me that it's 30,000 naira they paid.
Yeah.
But when you get to me, I will direct you appropriately.
How many of us need to get
you know what I'm saying? When you get to me, I mean when you get to the office. Don't go to the office and start looking for. They will approach you at the gate.
Yes.
Okay. You see somebody in Mufti who will say, no, tell him I want to meet. I want to get to the office and do the right thing. This one, I will give you the number of Mrs. Mkilanko. You can approach, it will direct you appropriately. Because it's like
also
everybody
another way
fits.
to remind Nigerians that, listen, we always like to call somebody. I always say it all the time, you want to work at TVC, you call Murai, you call Tokwe. Just walk, have you walked to the gate of TVC and say, please, I'd like to apply? Properly. Have you gone there and said, they sent you away? I mean, go there first and say, are you applying? Have you go to their website, you see, apply here. Nobody does that. Whoever call, I know the MD, Murai works there. So, the same thing, you want to get driver's license, you want to do something, you just want to call somebody. Go there.
Go to the office.
And ask for the receptionist. Then he or she would direct you.
They would direct you
what to do.
appropriately. Somebody was accosted one time. He said they collected 30,000 naira from him. And it was in my office. And he said, where did you see the person? He said, under the tree. I said, my office is not under the tree. And I wear uniform to office. So it's your fault.
We have to wrap up. I think we have to go for who wants to be a millionaire. But go ahead very quickly.
Okay, no, I just had this. I picked a story today on an incident that happened on the Owo Road with one of your officers. And I'd just like to hear your views on that to speak to Nigerians because he was accused of assaulting a pregnant woman. Yes,
I had the same story and I actually read through. And I was also made to contact the sector commander of Ondo State. He actually confirmed that there was an incident where they had an encounter with the boss, but there was nothing like assault. And it was more of a blackmail just to get their way. And that was exactly what happened. FRSC are not trained to assault anybody, and we are not going to take it. We are not going to take it as management. But rather, we have been receiving assaults from members of the public.
All right, that's all we can take. I have to thank you very much for coming to shed light on this.
Thank you very much.
Hope that people have a safe trip this holidays, this Yuletide season. So we're going to go on break. When we come back, we'll take the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll still bring back our guests because I know we have some questions online. We couldn't take those questions. But that's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.